Doc Delaney, 1 year.
It's a long time between drinks.
Let's have all the alcoholics raise their hands. Thank you. It's good to have you here.
There's been a lot of breakthroughs in our understanding of addiction and in our management of addiction in recent years. Unfortunately, in modern America, there's still an aura of shame around being an alcoholic. We see it as their moral failing. We see it as a weakness within them. They're a bunch of losers. We're not like them. We would never do that. I see this attitude not only in my practice, but in my private life. I was at a very fashionable dinner in West LA. And one of the women there discovered I was Irish in the middle of the dinner and says, "Hey, you're Irish. Did you get the drinking gene?" And her tone was such that it was somehow a failing, somehow that I did something wrong. I had to ask her to repeat the question because her speech was slurred. She was drunk. She didn't see the irony in it, asking an Irish guy, was he drunk? She would never lean over in a party and say, "Hey, I heard you got the diabetic gene."
To this place.
The attitude to addiction hasn't caught up with it.
My name is Elaine and I'm an addict. I am exactly 360 days sober.
Can't believe that with everything we have to do, you
5 more and I
me
hit
to
my
another
1 year
addict
mark.
festival.
So you get nasty news. You've got cancer or bad heart disease or whatever. The first thing you ask is, what can my doctor do for me? Your doc says you're in luck. There's a treatment. It's really simple. You sit around in a circle with other people that have the same disease that you have, and you surrender to a supreme being.
Once I admitted that I was pretty much powerless over alcohol, then I was only 12 steps away from serenity. And with God's help, or whoever it is up there who's keeping an eye on me, that's how I want it to be for the rest of my life.
Is there some correlation between how boring you are and how much you drink? I've never heard so much self-indulgent whinging in all my life.
You look at them. Are you serious? Does it work?
We'd be pretty bad doctors if we didn't do everything humanly possible for you.
And he says, yes, 5 to 10% of the time.
My name's Melanie and I'm an alcoholic.
He explains to you in a very slow voice. The 90% fail because they don't embrace the supreme being. This is the 12-step program. And it's been the mainstay of treatment for addiction since it was introduced 75 years ago. And it hasn't changed. So what do we know works? There are lots of researchers and lots of doctors now understanding that addiction is a disease no different than diabetes, no different than cancer, no different than hypertension. So our approach has changed. We have drugs that will help prevent you from falling off the wagon. We have drugs that will limit the amount you can binge in one session. They're all FDA approved. The drugs are acamprosate, naltrexone, disulfiram. They're not miracle cures. Throw them in with some therapy, some family support, and we've got something going. What I want you to understand is that being an addict, being an alcoholic, is no different than being a diabetic or hypertensive. We can't cure it, but we can manage it. And our management is getting better day after day after day. And if you think that way, we can step forward and you will do better. Thanks for watching. Check out my other videos to keep your family healthy on DrChambersOnCall.com.